policy and public. agreement. And how to these sort of agreements. Of course, this was from the beginning. All the agreements. What you can see that this is the emissions, which peaked for sulfur, which peaked about 1980 and nitrogen oxides about 10 years later. They have come down to fairly low levels, especially for sulfur. We are down to a situation that we had about 1900. What we also can see that the fish that disappeared in the rivers and lakes, they are coming, is now coming back. And in the work, we use something that we call the critical load concept, which means that we define what these contamination withstand. And by using this critical load concept, we look at exceedances. We can see how these exceedances, which is fundamental, these exceedances have been reduced in Europe between 1990 and 2010. So over a 20-year period, very large changes occurred in Europe. And for science, it's important to the science support to policy went through a number of very useful concepts. One is this critical loads and levels, which define the as I said, the sort of level that the nature can withstand. But one also important issue is what we call the blame matrices. That through the blame matrices, we could go back and see where in Europe emissions occurred, and we could use that both as a discussions between countries. They can say that this amount of sulfur was coming from Germany, going to Norway, and so on. And so such a matrix was established for Europe for every year. And through these, of course, it was all countries could see that they couldn't solve their air pollution problems without collaboration. The third issue is, of course, that we could also establish ways of calculate which control measures were the most cost effective. And finally, we had to work with several pollutants or several effects, and we were able to put together a way of handling all the key pollutants like sulfur dioxide, ammonia, nitrogen oxide, and volatile organic compounds. Well, volatile organic compounds together with nitrogen oxide is the key component for the formation of photochemical oxidants in the atmosphere. You certainly know. But you look at the different effects, terrestrial ecosystem, surface water, marine ecosystems, at the same time in the same model, and use that cost-effective approaches, and which were used in setting obligations for the various countries. And this was developed at the end of the 1990s, and this concept is still used when looking to today's needs. And this figure, I'm not going to go through it, but you can maybe have a look at it a bit later. But it shows how science and policy work together, interacted together in a stepwise approach from the discovery at the top of the figure through building consensus and then developing these multi-pollutant, as multi-effect strategies. And finally, after the year 2000, we can also see how other problems are coming in, like climate, like agriculture, like hemispheric transport of air pollution and so on. And today, the air pollution has become more and more a piece in a much larger way of approaching environmental problems. Just a couple of words about scientific research also. Scientific research are core activities under the convention. If you compare the Air Convention with the Climate Convention, the largest difference, there are two large differences. Of course, the Air Convention doesn't cover the northern parts of the world, but pollution, of the air pollution over the two continents. Well, just a couple of words about the outcome here. If this figure illustrates what would happen, how the situation could have looked like if no measures had been taken. The dotted line is just the GNP growth. The hypothetical GDP growth is a height, and the line is the actual GDP, and I think that's what you should look at. And the SO2 emission should have been 2.5 times higher today, or compared to what it was in 1970. If no measures have been taken. And you can see that today they are just a fraction of what they were in 1970. And you can also see that there are, we look at control measure, it's not only end of pipe solutions, there are also other solutions makes up 2/3 of the reduction in sulfur dioxide emissions. We have energy efficiency, intensity, so you have large improvements in that area. You have also changes in the fuel mix. You're going from coal to natural gas and to renewable energy. And you have also end of pipe. But if this hadn't happened, the exceedance of critical loads have been 30 times higher today compared to what they are today. We should have had 600,000 more premature deaths per year in Europe. And also damage to crops should have been 30% higher. This figure just illustrates that the problem is not that it is a transboundary problem. And when you're looking at the problem, for example, in Delhi or other cities in India, it's important to take into account this transport of air pollution from regions around, even if India is a much larger country compared to the small countries we have in Europe. It's very important to take that into account and not only look at a single city as the control of the emissions there as the only solution. And then to the future. What I'm talking about now is essentially the regional development. But today, the collaboration on air pollution is going towards a much more of a global collaboration. And that is, there are UN organizations that are looking into this from different angles. We have the WHO that established an action plan in 2015. The UN Environment Assembly decided 2017 to direct activities towards air on a global scale. We have something interesting, that's the International Law Commission. They wrote a special report in order to support international collaboration with respect to legislation. Of course, we have this link of the Sustainable Development Goals, and in particular to the climate change. And finally, I also want to mention WMO, that has taken the World Meteorological Organization, which has taken important initiative to link networks and link modeling on a global scale. And today, as you may know, there is a very rapid development in this area. And I think the approach for the future will be much more on an Earth system approach, where models and will become a key element. And there are, of course, other initiatives. If you just take the Sustainable Development Goals, there's no particular goal for air pollution. Instead, air pollution is embedded in several other goals, and I just put a ring around those that we can see that the air pollution is a key, is part of. So we have air pollution as an issue everywhere. And if you want to look at more information and reading about, and this is of course to a fairly large extent about the European perspective, there is a report which I took part in, which we published in 2016 for the UNECE Convention, where we, together with a very large number of scientists, wrote together the state of the art of the easily be downloaded. We had also you can also go to the webpage of the UNECE Convention on Air Pollution. And finally, we just recently published a paper on this Narain issue over the 50 years since it was put on the international agenda in 1968, and this is it can be downloaded for free. With that, I just want to finish my presentation with a look how the lakes in Sweden can look like in an early morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peringe. Very nice historical background about acid rain, sulfur, and long-range transport treaty. All your role cannot be ignored. Even the environmental concerns of Sweden are always taken by the whole globe on priority, including the IPCC recommendations and actions. And now
If you see, sir, basically, the biodiversity, so it is the variety of all life forms, particularly the generic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. It is a combination of all life forms on the earth and its interaction of each. An annum, so which we not even imagine. So what is the value of a tree that provides in terms of oxygen? And a biodiversity has got the direct value in our food, medicine, and industry. So means it is providing the essential services and sustenance of our life. Coming to sir, the contribution of our country, if you see our global area in the land is only 2.4%. And whereas our population is, say, 18% of the population. And we have about 7 to 8% of globally recorded species and about 5.6% of world GDP in terms of purchase power parity. So we normally claim, see, though our population is more, and even so the same amount of cattle is also available on the our country. So about 18% of cattle of world is existing in our country. So even though because of our lifestyles, because of our culture, heritage, so the people, our elders are taught so how to live with the nature. That is why so we are sustaining, and India will be committed to sustain for the biodiversity protection. If you see, sir, that out of 36 identified hotspots all over the world, which are the biologically very, very important. So out of that, four are in the country. Those are Northeast India in the Eastern Himalayas. Second one is Assam in the Indo-Gangetic region, and Western Ghats, Andaman and Nicobar Islands in Sundarban. Over 47,000 species and more than 1 lakh species of animals are recorded so far in our country. So, they're coming to our India's legislation for biodiversity conservation, sir. So, India is committed for biodiversity. So, first time of its kind, where India is one of the first countries to have enacted such legislation of Biodiversity Act that we came in 2002 itself, and followed by ABS in 2014. Then India has got the three-tier mechanism for protection of biodiversity conservation. Here at the national level, at the National Biodiversity Authority is there, we normally call it NBA, and at the state level, state biodiversity boards, that is SBBs, and local level biodiversity management committees, that normally we refer as BMCs. So there is a three-tier structure is there for the protection of biodiversity conservation, and the main role of the BMC is to prepare the People's Biodiversity Register containing the information on local and biological resources associated with the PKs. Then coming to sir, our convention, India is a party to it, and pursuant to the convention, so the India has played a very good role in the convention, and it is committed to the objectives of the convention. And basically, the objectives are conservation of biodiversity, sustainable use of its components, fair and equitable sharing the benefits arising out of use of the genetic resources. So that is the equality of having a right to the nature. And third objective is common as access benefit sharing. The two protocols under CBD are there. So one is Nagoya Protocol on ABC, ABS. This is a legally binding one. So the India is a party to it, and India facilitated the entry into this. And the COP11 also witnesses. We are also strategic action plans, so it has been prepared. Then national reports have also prepared several national reports which have, so what is the role, what is the so these are the different legislative instruments that are available and used for biodiversity conservation in the country. And of course, it is the part of our constitution. So environmental protection is enriched in the Constitution of India in the Article 48A and Article 51 AG. So it is the duty and fundamental right also. Then scope of Biological Diversity Act 2002. So products for research by Indians. are not production and utilization of the batteries are going day by day, and for any developmental activity or the project that is to be of year 2006 also taken into the consideration. So these are the major aspect that has been taken in the recent draft notification of laying procedure. So coming to this, so thank you very much for giving an opportunity. Thank you.
Very nice information, Dr. Sharath. We received, and I am getting very positive comment about your presentation. Information excellent. So now I welcome Dr. Sunita Narain, who is post-band India's environment clean in Delhi NCR. She's doing for last 20 years almost. Very famous magazine she is publishing, Down to Earth. Everybody goes through that. And other than that, she is a member of EPCA, very effectively implemented plan. She trained time that, and we have opportunity. I am glad she is among us now, and to address our students about all one nature solution.
India, the migrant faces that
intensity of cyclones, bringing devastation, thrown leaves. They are hit also because when the virus is there, they are hit.
economic growth strategy. And I think that's really where the solutions need to be. economy which is built on land, on water, on forests, on biodiversity. We need to bring the issue of nature into livelihoods. For too long, India has been caught in a trap of conservation versus development. Both communities need to be told that we want to grow trees, we want to cut trees, we want to use trees, we want to use nature. We should not be locking.
Anything your professors tell you, think for yourself, learn what's happening on the ground, and actually learn the politics of environment. Environment is not about green trees and tigers, it is about the politics. Who will grow the tree? Who will cut it? Who will benefit from it? Who will benefit from biodiversity? That's the question I hope you will learn, you will take to heart, and you will find solutions that work
For our new economy. So thank you so much for asking me to say this, to be with you. I work with Umesh, and there was no way I could have said no to him. So thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm really caught between various things, but I wanted to have this opportunity to share my ideas with you. So thank you so much. Umesh ji, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sunita ji. Students liked your lecture and they're saying very true, ma'am. As you well said, that conservation has to move, but with local governance at local scale under rural areas. So business versus clean air, that is your always you say. That is wonderful, and I think student will take home, work on that online exercise, or with that you can go through down to us regularly. Nowadays, a lot of issues about COVID-19 she has published. She has original ideas about environment and conservation. Thank you, Sunita ji. Wonderful.
Umesh ji, and thank you everyone for hearing me. Thank you. Very happy.
Now we have with us Dr. S.R. Wate, former director, CSIR-NEERI Laboratory, Nagpur. Welcome, Dr. Wate. He was also chairman, Recruitment Assessment Board, CSIR. He is pillar behind the policy formulation in all aspects of environment today with Government of India. He has his vast experience in environment impact assessment. That is the backbone of any industrial development under controlled pollution. So now, without wasting much of the time, I invite Dr. Wate.
Thank you, Umesh. First of all, let me wish all the students and all the panelists a very healthy World Environment Day. Are you getting me? Can you get me?
Yeah, clear. Ekdam.
Now the topic that you have selected, time for nature, very apt. This has been perhaps in the beginning for so many years that one has to give time to nature. And since I'm talking to students as well as faculty, nature. If you develop this mindset for the nature, that whatever I'm you're not going to do. Now, what I would like have been enjoying good air, enjoying good water, enjoying good no horn, no noise, nothing. It's not going to stay long. Man will, like nature is resilient, so is man. He will return to his bad practices. Nature is always returning to good practices. The man is in the reverse fashion. He does it in the inverse fashion. Now, what will happen? If you look at the unlock phase 1, the cases of corona are spurting up. People are not putting distance. People are not using the precautions. It will happen in a fashion that whatever we have gained in the corona period towards the environment may doubly get lost, which is part where management will be at a problem. You will not be in a position to manage it. What we need, students, practices, get back to your good practices, technology support. Now, students must focus on generating the technologies for best of the water uses, best of air pollution control, best of the practices in agriculture, best of the day before, or correction, yes, day before there was a sport in the Dahej state in SEZ in Bharuch. Now, environment impact assessment or environment student have seen yesterday there was a elephant, male, female elephant. Brought back to that before, during, and after. What was before is also seen after. There is nothing. I would be happy to answer the question if there are any.
Okay, question come, I will ask, but it was very important. One issue you told that risk assessment is as important as the impact assessment, because recent chemical industry accidents, they force us to review it and make a new policy accordingly. Thank you, Dr. Wate.
This can be included in the curriculum also. You can put it in a curriculum that there must be a course on risk assessment, and that will help us.
That is true. In fact, let me share with you, I have developed a course on process safety and environment, and we had one lecture also on safety issues, because that is as good as quality assessment also, QAQC, safety in environmental data and industry. So we have started a legacy.
Umesh, he should be always towards the quality with a quality quantification. If you don't go to quantity, the environment management will become zero, because we would.
Thank you. Yes, sir, I will send you. Hello, George. Are you able to hear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now you are seeing
my file.
Voice is coming.
Yeah, let me try to get the file. It's here. Oh. Everybody can see the file?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay. So can I start now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you.
Did you listen? I was introducing that time. Your voice was coming. My voice was coming to you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay.
Continue, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be here to give a presentation, to give a very comprehensive talk about the 7C project, about the biomass burning for the Southeast Asian regions. So this project started for the almost more than 10 years. So I'm giving you a very comprehensive review about the biomass burning in Southeast Asian status and the project itself, and finally give you some results, particularly in the springtime campaign in
China Peninsula. So this global map shows you the major biomass burning region in the world. For example, the South American, Africa, and the Southeast Asia. So if you look at here, those burning primarily from agriculture, forest fire, and house cooking. And for giving some example, the PAK Taoyuan super site, one of the 7 seas sites in northern Thailand, very close to the border of Myanmar. In end of March, the picture taken in 2013. In one clear day, you can see the PM 2.5 only 10 microgram per 2 meter, just meet the WHO standard. But 2 days later, a health event, you can see the PM 2.5 goes up to 150 microgram per cubic meter. So it's amazing. After the event. And let's check the monthly valuation of the biomass burning file count from the satellite image. So you can see from January, February, March, and April, which is the peak months during the springtime season over the northern Indo-China Peninsula. And it comes to the end of July, August, and September. So you can see the fire shift to the south part of Southeast Asia. So you can see springtime, lots of biomass burning in northern region. And in summer to the southern region of Southeast Asia. And back to 20 years ago, we have the idea about the biomass burning. Then you can see the huge area of the smoke over the northern Vietnam, part of the southwest China. Meanwhile, look at the true color, the color image. So you can see here, the overlap smoke region. So this is called the aerosol cloud interaction region. So that's why the 7 seas, including US Navy and NASA, and the 7 countries around the Southeast Asia region, and including in the 7 marginal seas. So we think about identify 7 scientific issues about the biomass burning impact on the Southeast Asia region, including aerosol, air quality, weather, radiation, energy budget, rainfall, and land process, and oceanography, and the satellite validation and forecast system of the burning. So the 7 seas started almost in 2007. And every year we have the workshop and the training course in different countries, take turns. And we start the field campaign to study the biomass burning since 2010. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, now Phase 4. So every phase we have a different story. For example, Phase 1 for biomass burning aerosol calculation. Phase 2 for aerosol cloud interaction. Phase 3, Phase 4 comes up with the data archive, modeling study, and establish of the network. And this shows you basically the site of the 7 seas domain, including the ground-based aerosol measurement and the measurement and the LiDAR network. Try to build up the aerosol data set in horizontal and vertically come with the satellite. And here shows you what we call the spring field campaign. And Taiwan and NASA, Thailand, Vietnam is more concerned about the northern region of Indo-China Peninsula, where is the major source region in northern Southeast Asia. So during the springtime, you can see we set up the experiment over the income shipper site, Sun Yangbai in Vietnam, all the way down to the and pretty much as I showed earlier, this red hotspot area is biomass burning smoke. and interact with the huge cloud region. So we call the source region of burning, and come to the middle, the aerosol cloud interaction, and then we are more concerned about the size. So today I'm going to briefly talk about the source receptor, the burning characterization, and climate, finally to the health effect, which the general public is concerned. So I'll give you some example for the data we have. The physical, chemical, optical data set over the different stations. Most of them have the similar data set. So you can see for the chemistry, like the organic carbons, OCDC, and some other water, soluble ions, metal, toxics, and the physical measurements for physical profiling of the aerosol and so on. And just show you some results of the spring campaign we have. So meteorology, transport, physical measurement, and chemical measurement. So these are our long-term analysis for the weather and climate data. So you can see during springtime, actually the burning smoke, the converging and strong convect motion can bring up the smoke, goes up beyond the boundary layer, and transported with the westerly flow all the way down to Taiwan, and pass over northern Vietnam, southern part of China, South China Sea to Taiwan. And along the westerly flow, if interacted with the strong northeast monsoon flow, and can create we call the downwash. So actually the smoke balloon, the pollution can down to the surface level. So this is the WATE simulation for 48 hours simulation. So you can see how the pollution from the source region transport horizontally, and look at this vertical cross-section here. Convective motion goes up and transport down to Taiwan, and even the pollution can down to the surface level. And for the climatology concerned, we find out if we have a strong dry air advection from northern India into the northern region of peninsula, can produce less rainfall and enhance the burning activity, and also increase the heating of the burning pollution to the free atmosphere, and finally transport it down to Taiwan. Then how about the aerosol effect? So you can see associated aerosol, for example, 2010 and 2016, as long as the aerosol year, you can see the enhancement of the burning activity compared with the La Nina years. So let's come back to the source region, one of the super sites at the Doi income, northern Thailand. Doi means a mountain, so it's a mountain income. So Doi income is a nearby middle-sized village near our station. So you can see every day almost, you can see the burning everywhere around this middle-sized village. So from the agriculture and the sideway burning,